Kia ora te whānau. We are back for another episode of Sharpen Up. Coming up later in the show, we do have the Black Ferns Captain, Ruahei Demant, on. But for now, we actually have all of us here. Ardie, Jordan, and Pity, you've made it back for a second week in a row, my bro. That's it. Oh, and what's that jumper you've got on? I can see.
Hey, don't worry about this one, mate.
Oh, it's
I'm
great.
not doing so well at the moment, but hey, who cares?
Well, we might as well, start with some NRL then, shall we? And up the Waz, they're on a roll. They've won 5 in a row now, 8 games across the season. They're looking the goods. Ardie, your thoughts on how the Warriors are going?
Yeah, you're right. They're on a roll. They're travelling state. They're winning those games, and just those small margins in the games, and just doing enough to get the win. And I did see earlier today, our boy Ruki Metcalf is leading the Dally M at the moment. So that always helps when when your halfback's playing quality footy. Your team's also gonna go pretty well.
Andrew Webster, the coach of the Warriors, every press conference after the game, he keeps saying that his heart rate is going up and down. He's almost having heart attacks. Jordan, I want to know how your heart rate is when you're watching the Waz.
I'm pretty calm, collected. I've got full faith in the team. You know what? I was watching the game with some of my mates down here in Pōneke, and first of all, I just want to say that I'm a big fan of Aaron Clark. I don't know if there is a fan club out there, but I'd like to put my application down to join that club. But then the other thing that I was cracking up was the fish and this new fashionable style that he's going with. I don't know if it's like that. It's like a Rick Steiner paho and then the matching rat tail, and I'm like, bruh. Where did you get that? Because I might be following suit very shortly.
Well, you're going to be rocking it.
I reckon I just follow up what Ardie was saying. Just the fact that they're sticking in the fight. Like that whole shift in the team. I don't know if it's because of for probably a number of reasons. But that as a fan, and I've said it before, I'm so stoked with. I'm so happy with. They're staying in the fight. They're winning these games when a few years ago we'd know, when are they gonna muck this up, or when are the other teams?
Yeah, it's like a ticking time bomb, right?
Like we knew, right, that it was coming and we were gonna take this L. But that's changed, and and I've had full faith since. I'm pretty stoked. I'm happy.
Pity, your thoughts on how the Waz are going at the moment?
It's good that they're just getting good, consistent wins together. And, when things are sort of going pear-shaped, you start second-guessing whether you've got the right guys for the right job. But like the boys have been saying, they've been staying in the fight right up into the end to, that some of it's not pretty, but, I mean, the best part is they're actually staying in the fight. And big raps to... the littlest halfback in the NRL that everyone keeps doubting. The man's producing the goods. It usually helps when you've got, a good spine, or if not, you're complementing your other half. And I think the two boys are doing really well in that area.
And how about your Broncos, your Huiho, Pity? Because, and there's been a lot of talk about Madge Maguire and all of that. So your whakaaro on that?
To be honest, I thought that whole thing was bloody stupid.
Yeah.
Just because a man likes a post that you all of a sudden, that's grounds to bloody terminate his contract.
Yeah, for dismissal.
Obviously they've already had something wrong beforehand, and that was just any excuse to throw the bro out. But I'm like thinking, bro, take them to the cleaners, cuzzy. Take them to the cleaners for no reason. Oh, well, you want to play that game. Take them to the cleaners, my bro. Go back to Manly where my brother might want you.
But that is crazy, right? Like, we obviously see players leaving teams due to, not getting the contract they would want, or the coach maybe not being selected. But for something like that, have you ever seen anything like that, Ardie, when you were part of the league community?
Not really. Obviously, there's that, those are always, those situations are always going to happen in sport where coaches and players don't see eye to eye, and it's just, I've seen different ways how people deal with them, and I know what I'd prefer and what I don't prefer. But I think the social media is such a big thing now, and we get access to information straight away, so that's not actually helping some of these situations too.
Yeah, but like if you put it in context, right? One of the other boys got done for violence, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Domestic violence, and you liking a post.
Yeah.
Like that gives you grounds to terminate. I would have thought the one
Exactly.
that got done for bloody assault would have been the one that should have got terminated, or find somewhere else, move on, go somewhere else if you're going to be like that. But just for liking a post, I mean, you could talk about the Israel Folau scenario with the Wallabies or Australia Rugby Union. In context, he probably shouldn't have done it. But I mean, if the man's got beliefs and those are his beliefs, what's stopping him from expressing himself and his values and also his religion? Tough, but they obviously they made their decision. But I'm pretty sure a lot of us would have liked his post at the start and then realised what we had done. But man's expressing himself from what he believes in. We can't sort of stop him from doing that. But then liking someone because they don't see eye to eye with the coach, who doesn't?
No, exactly. I mean, we've probably
don't.
all been in teams where we didn't see eye to eye with a coach, even teammates, but you know what the end goal is, and you make it work, right? You don't just say Keats and fire them, terminate their contract.
Hard.
While we're on the topic of rugby league, the origin teams have been announced, so let's all stake our claims, let everyone know who we support. Penny, I'm looking at you.
Queenslander!
How high? Why? How come Queensland?
Well, since I was born into it really with Dad and my older brother, but I think it was because I liked the King, Wally Lewis.
Yeah.
That's what did it for me, and Langer.
Yes.
Pretty much Poto guys out there trying to go toe to toe with those big giants in the old in the pack, and that's what did it for me as a kid growing up. I was never really the biggest person. Those genes got passed on to my older brother. The speed, the size, the ability. I had to work hard for all of my stuff to crack it. But I think it was because those two were small in stature and trying to go toe to toe with some of the big Goliaths in New South Wales.
Well, speaking of New South Wales, that's my team. Blues, baby. Uppy, your side?
Yeah, I'm the same. Sky blue all day.
Yeah.
No, I think he's
Ngāti
getting
Porou,
it
East
confused with
Coast.
Ngāti Porou. Come on, mate.
Jordan, what about you? Where do you sit?
I actually can't stand State of Origin.
Why?
I mean, first of all, who cares about Australia? Hey, I don't give a damn about your states. And then secondly, I'm from Aotearoa, and then the whole debacle around it being the highest form of competition. I remember watching Sean Johnson talk about it, right? At one stage, he was the best player in the world. So how can you call that competition the highest level of competition? And I think about other players who are Kiwis players that don't play in that game. Even Sonny Bill's era. Sonny wasn't playing in State of Origin.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it's the highest level. So I'm one of those fellas, hater of State of Origin. I can't stand when I see my whānau here in Aotearoa putting so much energy and effort into this game that don't even belong to it. I'm going on a rant, whānau. But I don't know. I'm just I don't get with it. I don't get behind it. I understand it. I obviously support teams in the NBA. I'd have never been to that city before, but I get it. But I'm just putting it out there for other, different for Karo, I suppose. Like, never mind them. I'm all like, if you want the highest level of sports, for league, change these eligibility rules. If this is about the Australian team, then go do that somewhere else. I don't know. I'm a bit of a. I'm having a rant here. I'm probably not even making sense. But what I do know is I don't support any of them. Up the Kiwis, up all the Pacific nations, tier 2 countries. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Well, we'll just let you have your cup of tea now then while we discuss State of Origin. Uppy, how do you feel about your Blues squad then? Got announced Jerome Luai's not there.
Yep.
And you've got Mitchell Moses in the halves. Bradman Bess, I thought he was very good last year, but he's not part of the team. So how are you liking your Blues team, who will play next week?
Yeah, it's a pretty quality side. I'm really happy with the Moses-Cleary combination.
Oh.
I think the kicking game. And, Origin, I've actually been to one Origin game when I was 18, and being in that arena is pretty cool, and watching it, live, hoping to get to a game this season. Hopefully the potty can go.
Maybe not Jordan. He doesn't seem too keen, or he might start supporting.
Next minute, hey. But yeah, it's a quality side. Latrell Mitchell, looking forward to watching him. He's always one of those players that steps up in big games. So I don't think it's looking good for the bro Pity. That's my whakaaro.
Pity, how are you feeling about your Maroons?
I just actually looked at the team. No, it's a pretty solid team, to be honest. I think the most thing that most people enjoy watching is the matchups, and making sure that everyone, who they're playing opposite against, they do better than, or try and belt the shit out of them, things like that. So that's what I look forward to the most, is the matchups, how competitive the halves can be, how busy the fullbacks are, and how sneaky the hookers can be from both sides. So there's definitely talent from both teams across the board, and it's just a matter of how they execute and get the right outcome.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mitch Barnett from the Warriors, he's back in there again. I thought Wade Egan might have got a look in, but he's not in the extended squad. But, I mean, it is a long series in the middle of the NRL season, so who knows, maybe we'll see more Warriors in there. So shall we leave it to next week for everyone to just say how they think the game's going to go and what the score might be and what the punishment is?
Just to add on to Jordan's whakaaro, what do you think about a North Island, South Island, or into iwi Origin? Would that be something you're into, bro? Or what's your...
Yeah, I think more from the perspective of developing our game and our players, it would be great. Obviously, right, State of O is the traditional thing in Australia. It's an Australian competition, I get it. But yeah, I'd just love to see something local, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we might get a second franchise here in Aotearoa that could become that South Island, North Island kind of derby. But yeah, it'd be cool to see something. I mean, we got the All Stars, the Indigenous All Stars.
Yes.
Against the Māori All Stars, which is great as well. But then, if you were to say, you talked about atmosphere and the feeling in the stadium, going to a Samoa versus Tonga game,
Yeah.
I would say could match that, if not even better of an atmosphere. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just an Australia hater. Maybe that's just what it is.
What if, with that same kaupapa, the All-Stars game, the Māori and Aboriginals, what if we add in the Pacifica team?
Pacifica.
Then you combine all our poly groups, our best players in each position, and they represent the Pacifica as well. Kind of like how we had it here with our rugby back in the Rā in 05 and 06, I think it was. Which, if I had any regrets, that's the one team I wanted to go and jam with, was those boys. I mean, it was a pretty stacked team. I got told I probably would have made the ABs, but hello. Titi Vini made it freaking Sione Lawaki of Billy. Could have made it, kids.
No, I
But
agree.
that could be another way around it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I think everyone would love to see that. Right, Pity, Super Rugby, and I'm going to jump straight in with Ardie Savea. He's already won the Super Rugby Pacific Player of the Year. There's 2 weeks left of the regular season, but we've spoken about on the podcast the incredible season that he's having, but for him to do this, I think, too, just adds another layer to what he's already accomplished, right?
Yeah, I think he knew what he was getting himself into when he said yes. And I think that's, he's actually had time to think about it. He had a whole year to think about it before he went, because there was rumours well and truly before his contract was coming up that he wanted to go to potentially go to Moana Pacifica. And then not only that, the expectation of him to lead the boys and potentially take them to their first playoffs. I know they've got a tough run. Mm-hmm. They've obviously beaten the Canes earlier in the competition, and I know they're away. But I mean, like, there's nothing saying that they can't do it. It's just a tough ask going from Blues, Canes, and the Chiefs.
And Chiefs.
You know, that their run to the final isn't as easy as some of the other teams. But in saying that, they could potentially, you know, be the spoilers and get that opportunity to push through. I think they just need to win maybe just one game and potentially lose with a bonus point to be able to make it a stellar season. To be honest, it's been a stellar season no matter what.
Yeah.
They've won so many games this year. You look at the atmosphere it's created already. Mm-hmm. It almost looked like a packed stadium. Well, it definitely looked like it from the bloody grandstand. Didn't get to see the other side, but I mean, it looked like an awesome atmosphere. And they're just slowly building and gaining attraction from everyone, especially all those that were south of Auckland. Now they get to go a bit north and be a bit more rowdy on the shore and show them what supporting your team is really like.
Well, this is my partai for all of you then. With everything that Ardie has accomplished, and then you include this season, is he up there with some of the best All Blacks to have ever worn the black jersey?
We'll listen to Pity first.
Oh, come on, man. I'm waiting for you, brothers. Come on, Kelly. Listen, he's definitely in conversations around it, no doubt. Not just from what he's done this season. You know, when he first came on the scene, I don't think many expected him to be as good as he was back then. But he's actually, every year, he's just growing in confidence. The type of player that can actually be consistent in all three positions on the side of the scrum. And not only that, when he changes from, say, like the 7 role to the 8 role, he understands exactly what his role is in that jersey. Whether it's to try and run for a brick wall. Because what you see these days is with some of these ball carriers, they get tackled and then there's no actually fight. Whereas Ardie will try and fight to stay up, fight to gain an extra centimetre, 10 metres. You know, and he understands that, especially this year around anyway with Moana, how important it is for him to try and play the best footy he can week in, week out. And you can see the flow and effect with the boys. You know, they're playing confident footy. Not only that, they've got a couple of foreigner boys, like their English player who's come across from Japan, and he's absolutely loving the culture. And you know, for him to say that he's loving it, you know, it speaks volume not only from the culture that they've created, but the leadership from Tana and his coaching staff, Ardie, and the boys in terms of embracing their actual culture. They're not just playing for their culture. They're being their culture day in, day out. When they wake up in the morning, boom, I'm a Pacific Islander and I'm proud. And they go out there and do it every week. And, you know, I'd probably say, yeah, Ardie's the GOAT.
Nice. Uppy, your whakaaro?
No, yeah, I totally took all that, bro. And just listening to Ardie's words, you know, he talked about after the game was, you know, their role is to connect the people of Aotearoa, but most importantly to connect the people of Pacific. And they have a bigger purpose, you know, and they're living their values, they're living their ahurea every day, they're being themselves, you know, and that's what we as Māori do too, you know, and I think that's, I respect that. I respect and love watching our whanaunga from Te Moana Nui a Kiwa succeed, because when they succeed, we do. So big mihi to a leader like Ardie and what he's done for his people. And it's bigger than rugby, you know, and that's what I like watching this journey as they are growing. That wave is getting bigger and bigger. But my partai to you, bro, does that mean with the year that he's had, you know, as an athlete, and also his impact, you know, in this competition, is he in the question for All Black captaincy?
Kyle, because they've already made their decision, and I can't see it changing unless injury happens, and then. But he's definitely in those processes of selection, definitely as a co-captain. So if Barrett does get injured, I can't see them changing their reins in terms of giving that leadership role as a captain to Ardie. But that's just my whakaaro from previous, you know, times that I've played. They'll try and stick to their one leader, and if they will bleed a few in between, but they'll stick with their main leader until he sort of moves on, or even if he says, oh well, I think someone else has probably taken over my role and should definitely step into this role.
Mean.
All right. Well, our guest, Ruahei Demant, is ready. So we're going to have to roll the dice and see who's left for the interview.
So explain to our audience the situation.
Well, only Uppy and I are in studio. Ruahei's coming in via Zoom video call, and so's Piri and Jordan. So someone's going to drop out at Te Whānau.
Oh, all good.
No, but you were supposed to be doing the partai, boy.
But Piri might want to stay and chat some code.
No, I just because I enjoyed watching Jordan's you know facial expressions. Oh my god.
You know what I was thinking that whole time Portia was talking is whether or not I could tackle her.
Well, mihi ana kia koe. Welcome to the Sharpen Up podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. First of all, I'd love to know how the team's going after that draw to Canada on the weekend.
Yeah, thanks so much firstly for having me on the podcast. I guess there was a dissatisfaction, you know, like there were so many opportunities that we created on the weekend, and in many ways we were our own worst enemy. And so there's a lot of that this week as we're moving into USA. I think there's a bit more edge around the girls, around getting across their detail as we move towards that game.
In those final moments of the game, when you guys are down, how do you approach those pressure moments when it is literally the game is on the line and you know that you guys need to come up with a play to get that draw? Yeah,
for myself in those moments, it's just about mainly keeping the girls on the field calm and being real specific with exactly what we're doing next, so that you know, we know what we need to do, and everyone can just get into their mahi. Because it's just basically the same thing that we do at training, you know, it's just the schools are tied up, but everyone knows how to carry, how to clean, and so I guess, I don't know if that answers your question, but that was mainly the main thing going through my head at that moment at the end was around keeping the girls calm, having a real clear plan, and maintaining possession.
Ka pai. Kia ora tuahine, e mihi ana ki a koe I hono mai. Taki pātai hari te hāngai ki te kēmu I tēnei wā. I just really want to ask you about your upbringing, I tipu koe I here, and what sort of influences you had to get into to whutupōro.
Tēnā koe, Api. I guess pere I a koe tipu mai au, te wā kāinga. I'm a small town girl from Omaio, which is about 45 minutes away from Opotiki. Back down home, when I was growing up and up until very recently, we had no Wi-Fi, no service. Everyone was on landlines. It was a very rural, isolated community where everyone knew everyone. And the upbringing that me and my siblings had was I roto I Te Reo Māori, me ngā tikanga Māori. We were down at the marae all the time at Kapahaka and every hui going on. Grew up playing soccer in Opotiki. And then it wasn't until I was at high school that we formally got into rugby, but I used to play it all the time down at the marae, at the tangis, with
all the cousins.
Whatever was going on. But yeah, to answer your part-time, my upbringing, I guess like anyone's, had a massive influence on me and my life in getting into rugby, and it drives me. One of my purposes is making sure that little Māori kids from all across the motu, no matter where they are, where they live, how far away from town they live, that, you can do anything regardless of that. And this is what Māori success looks like. One example of what Māori success looks like.
Tēnā koe tuene, e tika ana hoki o kōrero. Taki pātai, I tipu koe I Te Reo Māori, ko Te Reo Māori tō reo tuatahi. He hao whea ko I te wai I kuhu koe ki te ao whutupōro. He tahi o ngā wero I pā ki a koe. And I just want to know, as a Te Reo Māori as your first language, what were some of the challenges for you coming into professional sport? That just to start there, but also letting us know, now that you're older, you've been an athlete for a long, how's the development to now, from early on to the present day?
I think, mōku nei, me tōku whakatipuranga, wai mari ahau nā te mea ahakoa, kei hea I roto I tēnei ao, ahakoa, e mahi whutupāro ana hau, I te whare wānanga hau, I te mahi woku mahi roia, e mohu ana hau ko wai au no hea hau. And I think that's really important and really grounding for anyone, not just Māori. But being a Māori, I know that really anchors me. And te wā, I tīmata tōku oku mahi roto I tēnei ao whutupāro, high performance, me ki. That was really grounding for me. I think the thing that most people don't realise who don't have the option of being in environments like this is high performance sport isn't for everyone, and it comes with a lot of challenges, and it truly does test your character and your resilience at times. And so for me, being able to fall back on ngā mātā pono I akuna ki au iau e tipuaki ana, ōku tekanga, tōku hāhi me wē rātu mea, tōku whānau anō hoki. Ahakoa te ahakoa ngā piki me ngā heke, ko era e noho taitua rāna mōku.
Kia ora tuene. Hei āpiti atu ki era kōrero. I want to know, we spoke I kōrero mātou ki tō hoa tākaro ki a Portia I te rau atu wiki. And she spoke a lot about connection. There was a part in her life that she sort of fell out in love with whutupōro, and she spoke about going back home and going back and reconnecting with her whānau, her whenua. What are some of the tools that you use to whakaora, to whakapiki your wairua? Growing up in a rural community like Opotiki, What would you tell our tamariki, what are some of the skills and tools that you use to whakaora yourself?
Yeah, patai pai tērā. Firstly, I would say for anyone who's like us that comes from beautiful, isolated parts of the country, moku, ko te hoki ki te kāinga, te hoki ki oku maunga, ki oku awa, ki tōku moana no hoki, te noho tahi, te taha o tōku whānau, te ruku, i roto i tōku moana, te kauhoi i tōku awa. Those are things that really ground me and keep me fresh. They whakaora my wairua and my hinengaro as well, especially going through long periods of time away from home. These are not only the sacrifices that we as players make, but our whānau as well. And so having those opportunities to return home and still be the same Ruahei that I have always been is really important to me, and I think that's a great way to, I guess if you do come across any challenges, that is something that has worked for myself, like Porsche said. Another big thing for me is, like, people always talk about their whys, and they always say that it's their whānau, which is mean. For me, my why, like why I play rugby, is to have fun with my mates, and a big part of that is the club rugby culture, the grassroots rugby culture, the aftermatch culture, the boat race and the aftermatch and the changing, all that stuff. And so what actually refreshes me and continues to steer me in the right direction in terms of not falling out of love with the game is continuing to fill that part of my cup. That's exactly why I play, and for a lot of us girls, we still have the opportunity to play or be involved at a community level. And so keeping in touch with my club and my mates at that level is really important to me. And I think it's important for anyone who does have a go at professional sport, that like never lose sight of the reason why you first fell in love with it. And that's probably the reason that you love rugby, and so continue to enhance that aspect of your wairua.
Tēnā koe.
Aye, and for me, sis, you speak about the love for rugby that you have and playing in that club rugby, but you've had some major injuries in your career. And when I got injured, had major injuries in netball, it almost was like the thing that I loved the most, like what you spoke about, was taken away from me, but it made that fire in my puku burn bigger. Like, what helped you get through those moments? Was it that your love for being part of that team in your club, or what helped you through those challenging moments in your career and to make you push on to where you've gotten to today?
Yeah, 100% what helped me was my club. When I was real young, I think I was like 18, 19, 20, I ruptured my ACL 3 times. And so I had to continue to come back from ACL reconstruction. And every single time, the last one was definitely the hardest, but every single time that I was faced with an injury setback and the challenge of rehab, my club was always there for me. I didn't do much, but it made me feel part of a team, regardless of whether I could or couldn't take the field. And like, I love rugby because of the friendships that I make, as I said. And so still being able to have that aspect of sport, even though I couldn't play, was very fulfilling and character building. And it wasn't until I came back from my 3rd ACL that I rediscovered my purpose at that time, which was, I actually love rugby because I loved having fun with my friends, and when I didn't have that, it was really tough for me. Prior to that, my purpose driving me in rugby was I wanted a black jersey. But yeah, I personally don't think that that's enough to really push you through those tough times.
Yeah, and so was this always the dream then for you, sis? Even when you are playing club rugby, to perform on the world stage and get into that black jersey?
Initially, yes. After I did my 3rd knee, no. I was told that, like, I remember going to my 2-week follow-up surgery and the surgeon saying that he didn't think that I would get back to playing rugby, and he said to me, if you were my daughter, I wouldn't let you play. And that really affected me mentally. But I just really wanted the option of being able to run out with my friends on a Saturday at club footy if I wanted to, or having the option of saying, no, I don't want to. And so at that point, it wasn't about playing for Auckland, playing for the Black Ferns for me. It was about just having the option of being able to say, yeah, I want to run around with my friends. Yeah, I want to go down to training on Tuesday and Thursday after mahi, or nah, I don't want to. Yeah.
Am I still here?
Yeah, I was just going to ask. Is our mate starstruck again?
He's probably is starstruck again.
I was like, heck, kia ora Ruahei. It's Joran here. I just want to make my introduction. I think my connection to you, I spent a lot of years in Kaweru in the Eastern Bay of Plenty. I got 2 pātai for you, obviously. We're basically cousins, right? Because Tainui Waka came through your part of the coast there, so you're pretty much related to Coco and I. But I've been down to the Pā Wars down there.
Oh, okay.
I've played for Ōpapi.
Yeah.
And so we took out the Poitu Kohu, the basketball. But who are you playing for at Pā Wars is one of my pātai.
Yeah.
So let me go with that. Oh, she's taking a drink of water. She's got a big answer for us.
No, my answer's real short. I play for Rangipaua.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then my second pātai for you is there's a 10-year-old kōtiro down at the Motu. The Keiwaia running. She's with her koro, and she's aspiring to be the next Ruahei Demant. What kupu or what kōrero do you have for that young kōtiro?
You know, my kupu wouldn't be to the kōtiro, it would be to her koro. And it would be whatever she wants to do, to give her the resources, to drive her to town, to give her whatever she needs so that she can chase her dreams, whatever that is.
Kia ora.
Mean.
Jordan, do you want to ask your Mount Rushmore one?
Yeah, one of the pātai we asked Portia that I was supposed to ask, but I got starstruck. Was the Maunga Rushmore of rugby. Who are your top 4 rugby players? And they could be, professionals. They could be locals. They could be people in your whānau as well. But give us your top 4.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, do they all have to be girls?
No, it could be anyone.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Number 1, Jerry Collins. Secondly, one of my real good friends, none of you will probably know her. Her name is Doris Tauwhateo, and she comes from my rugby club, has represented Auckland, and has also played for the Black Ferns, won a World Cup, came back to Tamaki, is real passionate and involved in her community out in GI, and was Maya's teacher, was Maya's coach, was Maya's colleague at one point, along with Liana. But she's real big on giving back to the game and serving her community and serving the next generation. So she's been a huge inspiration to myself also, which is why I would put Doris up there. Another one for me is another past Black Fern. Her name's Shannon Willoughby, and her nickname is the Wildebeest. And that's because, bro, she had 2 strokes and still came back to play rugby.
Holy.
Yo, so she's up there. I don't know who my 4th one would be. Probably got to be Porsche for everything she's done for women's rugby. She's pretty much the Jonah Lomu of women's rugby. And it doesn't matter how many accolades she accumulates, she's still so humble. And that's probably why I put Porsche up there.
Gee. Te pātai anō tāku tuahine, you spoke about, focusing on the mātua to provide the resources for our tamariki and growing up in a community. What, how o wawata? Like, what are your goals and what would you like to do or what would you say to tamariki like you and I who are Reo Māori tuatahi in rural? You're obviously against the odds. You didn't go to the big kura, you went to small kura, Hea o kōrero ki o tāua I rāmutu, ko Te Reo Māori, Te Reo tuatahi, I tipu I te ahurea Māori. He hea o kupu aki ki a rātou, I a rātou ka takahi I te ao o te hākinakina.
Ko taku kōrero, ko aku kupu aki ki wā tāua I rāmutu, ngā tamariki mokopuna hia ana ki te para I tēnei huarahi, tuatahi, ahakoa ko ai koe, nohe a koe, ka taia te aha. Ka taia E koutou, te piki ki ngā taumata ike o te ao hākinakina, o te ao whutupaoro, o ahakoa ngā wawata ka taia E tāua, E tātou te Māori. Tuarua, tāpiri atu ki tērā, ko aku kupu aki ki ngā mātua, ngā kaumātua, otira, ngā kura māhita, ngā kai tautoko anō hoki e noho ana ki ngā taone paku nei, kia kaha ki te tautoko I a tātou tamariki, ki te whai e nei wawata. Wētahi o ngā tamariki Māori nei, ka tipu mai roto I Te Reo Māori, ngā tikanga Māori, ngā mahi a rehia anō hoki, hoi anō, tērā pia he wawata ke a rātou. And, so ko aku nei aki ki a rātou, āta whakarongo ki ngā tamariki, pātai E rā tūmomo pātai, and kia kaha ki te tautoko I a rātou, aha koa, te nui, te iti, au rātou wawata.
Tēnā koe.
I just want to say it's beautiful listening to your kōrero, Api, and Ruahei, and Jordan and I, we're on our reo journeys, and I just want to say, sis, when I saw your interview last week, and it was a major media interview, and for you to hear you speak Te Reo Māori was just ātāhua, and I'd love to know, is that one of the goals? Because I love listening to this, but to, I guess, revitalize and make those spaces for others to feel comfortable where we can speak our language?
Yeah, I think Posh touched on it when you guys spoke to her around how multicultural our team is, and that's exactly what the country is, right? I know for myself, being a co-captain of this team and having to do media often, we've been really fortunate this year with our media manager. I don't even know Savannah's last name. Savannah. I guess for her, she knows what it feels like to be a minority, but she knows how important Brown success is and how loud we can be. And so I know she's really committed at trying to get more opportunities for Indigenous media, Māori media, Pacifica media to come along to our media sessions so that it can highlight the diversity within our team. There's a few of us in our team that can kōrero Māori, but outside of that, we have players who native Samoan speakers, native Fijian speakers. There's a few girls in this team who struggle to speak English, let me put it that way.
Same here, sis, same here.
And that's the beauty of our team and our country. So having someone like Savannah liaising those opportunities for us in terms of media, and that's how we showcase our team to the world and showcase our team to the country is through that. So yeah, she's a real choice in that space.
Yeah, I agree. And a big mihi to Savannah, who is your guys' media manager, and as you said, is just doing an amazing job. We know we only have you for a short time, sis, so just to wrap it up, the Black Ferns play USA this Saturday, North Harbour Stadium. What can we expect?
Speed, physicality, power, and fun.
Yes.
Thank you.
Nice. Well, mihi ana kia koe, we thank you so much for your time. We know you're busy in camp at the moment, so thank you so much for giving us and our listeners your time.
Thank you all for having me. Tēnā koutou.
Tēnā koe tuene. Did it again, Kill. He did it again.
I was like, am I even on?
We knew you were there, but we couldn't see you.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I was on or not, so I messaged Jane. He's like, yeah, you're on. I was like, oh, heck.
What a message. Oh, bro.
Oh, crack up. I mean, but as I said, that was beautiful to listen to. And Api, I know you've done your study and research in these areas. And how does that make you feel knowing that you can kōrero with the captain of the Black Ferns like that?
Yeah, well, I wanted to tell her actually before she got he tino hautipu, she is an inspiration, you know, for all our tamariki, to be a leader in those spaces. I know it's, from my experience, not easy, and the way she's carried herself, you know, e mihi ana ki a Ruahei, e mihi ana ki tōna whānau, ki tōna iwi, you know, the way she carries herself is beautiful, and yeah, it was cool. Like, you know, for myself as a professional athlete, in my short career of, you know, 9 to 10 years, I did not speak Te Reo Māori to any other teammate, you know. That's how rare it was.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so to have a conversation with another athlete like that was pretty cool. and it shows the growth of Te Reo Māori, our culture in 2025, to normalise these spaces and normalise using our reo in media.
And I love how she spoke about, and Portia did as well, that they're in a space where they're allowed to be themselves and it's encouraged. And I think too, for those of us who've been in professional sport, to have a media manager, media team who understand that and support that is huge. And, you know, even organisations, I still don't think, well, when I was there, didn't really understand that. So I love that that's the space that they're in, and they're making, I guess, these steps forward for all of us.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is like creating that safe space.
Yeah.
You know, you'd know going to Takiura last year, the importance of creating a safe space for you to be vulnerable and to express yourself. And she spoke about that and spoke about how, you know, safe and, you know, they can just be themselves, and some people can't speak English in that team, you know, like we don't see that side sometimes, and I didn't know how to speak English at 13, you know, we know what that feels like too, so it's cool to hear the diversity and to, e just e mihi ana ki a Ruahei for sharing that kōrero today. That was mean.
Yeah.
How o whakaro, Joran?
Oh, bro, as a girl dad, how privileged is it to be able to have so many role models, bro, like Ruahei, like the Portias, every single player that's a part of the Black Ferns system, the silver, like we have so many now, that my daughter, who's, you know, only year 10, but she has all of these amazing mana wahine to look up to. So as a dad, from a dad's perspective, bro, what a privilege, like, just like Coco, just to watch these two have a kōrero and to remind myself, like, oh, this is actually a platform. And this is a person who was the captain and the rangatira of her team, and she's having this, you know, kōrero I te reo Māori, and just, I think about the kura kids, I think about kids who are younger, that may have access to this and what that would do for them, bro. Mean.
No, I agree. Did we see Petty back there for a second? Oh, is he? Or is
Hey,
he?
hey,
Oh, there he is.
The Queenslander.
Oh, didn't want me to join in the kōrero of Ruahei. Nah, sweet ass, mate. Cut me off again. Just like last week, Portia. Later, bro, you're out.
We wanted you to say, Pono.
Nah, kids, play. How was it? Play on the kōrero or what?
Ai, rawe te kōrero.
Yeah, pie, bro. The girls are pumping. Yeah, it was cool. I actually learned quite a lot about that, about Ruahei and that kōrero. Yeah.
Was listening to your little summary of the kōrero. Like not speaking to any of your boys and your teams. I used to speak it a bit to like Hose.
Yeah.
It's like we learned, well, we tried to learn a bit of Te Reo when we were playing. And it wasn't just myself and Hose. There was Shannon, Paku, the Allison boys, Tamati and Jacob. You know, so we, like quite a few of us actually tried to learn a bit of our reo. I think most of it really is like for me, mostly, like, I just get too whakamata kōrero. Just because, like, I know our reo has evolved from just transliterations, and that's how I was brought up with transliteration. So I haven't actually gone to work on the evolution of our reo now, because it's like, I remember having a kōrero with someone, and they were like talking, and I'm like looking at them going, what the heck are you saying, bro? Oh, that don't sound like the language I learned. But it's actually them learning the new reo and the way that it sort of evolved. And it's been, like, it's just been mind-blowing just to see how evolved our reo has come now. It's gone from literally transliteration to, like, proper, like, we've got an actual language, a Te Reo language that's actually evolved to stay in the conversations better than what we used to. Not the old chicken language we used to have. But I mean, it's been me. Like, ka kōrero e tahi wā ki o ki tamariki. And it's been like a good learning for them. They always ask, what are you saying? And then we just try and have little combos, even though they weren't brought up on the reo and they want to learn. So I've got nieces and nephews where I try and talk to them, and then they reply back to me in English, hey. Uncle speak to you in Te Reo Māori. Hoki te kōrero e roto i te reo. So it's been huge. And now all my cousins that were brought up in koanga reo and kura kaupapa and that, like, they're trying to learn so they can have little mini kōreros with their tamariki. And like, I've been loving it. It's been awesome to see my cousins actually try and make an effort to have a kōrero with their kids in Te Reo Māori.
That's mean kōrero, bro, and I think that's something that we should think about in professional sport. We have physios, we have doctors, we have media managers, we have psychiatrists, we have all those, dietitians and stuff. I think a big part of an elite sport is having a Te Reo Māori teacher in those spaces, because trust me, an athlete who learns their language and learns more about their identity, you'll get a better performance on the field from them. So I that's my whakaaro, that's my wawata, is hoping to create spaces, because throughout my research, a lot of our Māori, as you said, brother, he nui ngā, not only Māori too, that's one thing. It's not just a Māori thing, it's ngā reo katoa. I used to remember, I had a little bit of English going into, as a 17-year-old, but I'd see some of our brothers and some of, from Tonga, from Samoa, kore reo Pākehā, and I could see some of the trend. I was like, people be teasing them. Look at these. They're not very clever. They're not, but like, we got to change that. We've got to create places and people to support all our Indigenous and all our languages, because coaches and clubs will get the best out of their players, out of their athletes, if they invest into that space. So, koe rā ki whakaaro.
Mickey.
Yeah.
And I also love, she spoke about club rugby, going back to where it all started for her, and just, that's what she loves about the game, which brings me to talk about our local and our grassroots stuff. And anyone from the weekend? Jordan, I think you had some local stuff, didn't you?
I was just going to throw these two under the bus and tell us about their games over the weekend. I know they're dodging, so I'm throwing it to them. How were your fellas' games?
Nah, look, I honestly, I don't mind talking about it. Like, it was a hell of an experience. Like, I got to see the Moeska Cup with my own eyes, without looking at photos of, like, the teams that have won it from my kura at Te Uti. So it was actually pretty cool. It was a cool atmosphere. We thought as coaching staff, we prepped really well, gave the boys enough information that they needed to know without sort of flooding them with too much information. But just, I guess the occasion might have just got to them a bit, and I guess that's good learnings for us, earlier in the season, as opposed to finals and semi-finals when it matters the most. So like playing, we've had the luxury of playing 4 top 8 teams in like 6 weeks, which has been huge for us in our development. Getting quality teams to go up against week in, week out. And so, yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, we didn't come away with the result, but we felt that like we probably overplayed our hand a little bit too much on the field rather than doing the tactical side of things and saving a bit of energy rather than smash and bash for like 20 minutes and then all of a sudden it who can't carry on after that. So you got to try and make some subs, but even then, I feel like the boys probably had blown all the energy playing too much footy in between the 222s. But hey, good learnings, hell of a vibe, and to get the opportunity to challenge for the Moeska Cup was huge. Like, I think the last time we had it was in 1972, and we may have had a crack at it potentially in the early 2000s. But yeah, that's the only time I've ever had a look at it. Was on the weekend. Got to see the cup in its beautifulness, and not wish that I got to play for it when I was at Kura. I finally got an opportunity to be involved in a Moeska Cup, which is not easy to be involved, because it always stays up in Tāmaki for some reason. Those fellas don't want to share it around with the rest of the rohe, but hey, grateful that Hamilton gave us that opportunity, and yeah, we'll follow our pride and come back to Whanganui-a-Tara and start our campaign in 2 days' time for college sport here in Wellington. So yeah,
Nice.
Mickey, my team.
but, hey, yeah, go on, your turn, boy.
No, we had the Battle of the Ako, Battle of Tokomari Bay, Waima and Toko United. Unfortunately, our team, Tokomari United, went down to our whanaunga. Big mihi to our whanaunga, but it was an awesome day seeing our small community of Tokomari Bay come together, and just the passion of grassroots rugby is real. You know, the whole world stops for that 80 minutes. But yeah, it was good, got through it, all good. So the body, the tinana is all good. So yeah.
Any sneaky things that you need to practice skill or like work on? Or?
Just that fitness skill. Need to hit those roads. Get that mini pre-season and.
Nice. And there was also some local netball that
Yeah.
you went along to, Uppy,
Yeah.
last week?
So there was here in Tāmaki Makaurau. I went down to watch with my niece, and I was like, "What's this kaupapa?" And there was heaps of kura from across, from Waikato all the way through to up north, came to West Auckland to play in a Netiporo tournament, and there was a Reo Māori one. So it was buzzy just walking through the courts, and all the what do you call a ref in netball? Yeah, all the kaiwa wao, we're all speaking Māori. And the kai tākaro, so yeah, it was pretty cool to see that kaupapa, and to the people that put those sort of events on, it's awesome to see.
Yeah, unreal. And to finish up, we'll do our sharp has or sharpen up moments for the week. So while you guys think about that, I'll start us off, and I'll just lead from netball. Because Mila Buchanan, she played her 100th game ANZ Premiership match on the weekend for the Stars, and her coaches Tamapata Bailey, they got their first win. So a big shout out to them. Another one for me, Auckland FC beat Melbourne Victory. So they will play at Go Media Mount Smart Stadium this Saturday to secure themselves in the grand final. And then just a final grassroots one, Stephen Crichton, captain of the Bulldogs. He went back to his home club, actually, the St Clair Comets, where I come from, last week. All the teams had their local trainings on I think it was the Thursday night, so he went back home which isn't close at all to where he is with the Bulldogs. But I think it was great to see a superstar of the game go back to the club where he grew up, where he came from, and just hang out with all the tamariki there.
Mickey, my turn.
Yeah.
My sharp as moment of the weekend, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but my namesake, my brother, Api Koroiso,
Your namesake?
he gave the whack, bro. Did you see that try?
Bro.
Yeah, so that was my shot. I remember watching that and I was like, that's me.
Uppy.
Latrell Mitt. But yeah, that was my sharp moment of the weekend.
Jordan?
You probably just circle back around to Ardie's performance. We asked, is he the GOAT? Like, he's a generational player, that's for sure. What Michael Jones was to my old man, Ardie is to me and my boy. I would love to see, I think what would kind of solidify his legacy would be maybe a World Cup perhaps. And just, I think the attraction to Moana Pacifica as a franchise too. I'll be interested to see what other high-profile players make their way there, to be honest, because what they're building and the culture and that development of Pacifica players is interesting for me. So that's my sharp as moment. Mihi to the bro Ardie and what he's achieved, not just as an individual athlete on the field, but the cultural shift that he's created in rugby.
Thank you.
Penny?
My sharpest moment will be allowed to come back on after Ruahei cut me off.
What a person to be cut
I
off
really
by.
appreciate you inviting me back on after she left.
We thought you were gone.
Got a yellow card kill.
Call me quick, guys. Oh, someone has to get off. Oh yeah, sweet.
We thought you were
sit on
gone
the
for another
outside.
4 weeks.
You got me good, guys. Oh, you got me good.
Oh, well, that's us at Stefano. It's been another good one. Thank you to Groove Bar for sponsoring us. Big thank you to the sis Ruahei Demant for coming on. Good luck to the Black Ferns this weekend. Oh, it's great to have the team all back together.
Up the blues.
Sorry. You talking about the Auckland one team?
Send them off again.
Jacob,
Later, Bolt.
come on, mate.
Later, Bolt.
Hey, I said I wiki then, mate.
Oh, so it is. He'll be back now.
Yeah. Don't worry about your Warriors. Oh, no, I better not say the other word.
Oh, ka kite.